East of the NFC East podcast. I am your host, Sean Gnitzcavich. The New York Football Giants went on a great win streak at the end of the year to lose the number one overall pick again. The Philadelphia Eagles win the division for the first time consecutively since they won it 4 times consecutively from 2001 to 2004, breaking a 20-year streak, which now they can't talk about on the broadcast. Darn. The Commanders win at the end of the season for no reason except for ruining their draft pick, just like the Giants. And the Dallas Cowboys are, Dallas Cowboys. But the Eagles made it to the playoffs, so that's fun. Anyways, the regular season is over. Jeremy Goode, what is good?
Well, yeah, football is over for most of the division. Kind of, season flies, especially if you don't make the playoffs, and you can tell when you're not going to make the playoffs too, even earlier. But already January 6th, my goodness, Sean, wow. A lot to reflect on with this division this year. Some surprises, I think. Some not so surprises, but yeah, Eagles are moving on. They'll be the lone representatives in the playoffs in the division, and we'll see. We'll also see what other teams might do in the offseason to try to join them or be the division winners next year.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, especially being a Giants fan. I mean, we were the first team eliminated from playoff contention, and we had some great wins in the beginning, two great wins in the beginning, kind of early on. We had some great almost wins that made you feel like the Giants were better than they were. Which honestly, I think, at the end of the day, I think we are better than our record as a team. I don't think that's any reason to retain Joe Schoen, which is like right now the biggest thing. You know, we got rid of Brian Daboll early, but you've been waiting for the end of the season to see, do we keep Joe Schoen? Do we keep Joe Schoen? It was kind of right before the last game. Everybody was kind of implying that, like, I think the Maras and ownership were pushing it to the media, like, hey, Joe Schoen's staying. Try to write some good stories about it so the fans aren't totally pissed because all the fans want him gone. Like, we want a clean slate. I mean, you look at this, it's been 5 years. We've had one playoff run, and that was the first year that Joe Schoen came in, which was essentially Dave Gettleman's rosters. Nobody who he picked up really contributed to that, playoff run team. Kayvon Thibodeau was a rookie, wasn't really there. Daniel Bellinger was like, a mid-tight end, and our free agent additions were just mid-linemen that got cut the next year because they weren't good enough to stay. It's just it's rough. And then the Commanders, they had the season from hell comparatively to what we all thought. I mean, going into this season, and we had to watch this season where the Commanders had all these primetime games because they made it to the NFC Championship last year. And obviously, Jaden Daniels gets hurt. Their Adam Peters' idea to just kind of add a bunch of aging vets to fill in the holes on the roster was a terrible idea. Who would have thought that? And then it also looks awful because when you have a lost season and your star quarterback gets hurt, these players aren't really going to be retained for the next season. So now you just have these holes to plug once again. And then the Dallas Cowboys do what the Dallas Cowboys typically do, which is have a bunch of hype, have a good team that can almost get there, but then just the flaws. There's always a flaw. You trade Micah Parsons so you can revamp your run defense. Your run defense still isn't even that good, and then now you don't have Micah Parsons. And it's been a year, man. It's been a year, Jeremy. What's your biggest takeaway? That was kind of like me recapping all the losers of the division. What's your takeaway after the regular season is over? It's done for the Giants. It's done for the Commanders. It's done for the Cowboys. Based on your expectations, I mean, you could probably say that you thought everybody was going to suck anyways, which is fair. As an Eagles fan, you have that power. Sure. But how far did it differ from what you expected for these?
It's a good question, Sean. I think I thought the division would be around this level. Maybe you get a little more competition from each team in their own ways, a little more competition with Dallas coming down to the end of the season, which you really didn't have. I thought Washington would be better, but I guess I also thought they would take a dip because they were so, record-wise, they were pretty good last year, so I thought they'd take a dip. I didn't think they'd be that bad. I thought the Giants would be better too, record-wise, just playing-wise too. So I thought this is how the division would kind of unfold, but not to the level of disparity, just difference. And I thought it'd be better as a whole, similar to how it finished in standings and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I thought there'd be more competition while not being the most competitive division, and I think that the ball was dropped early on. I think Washington really set the stage too, because New York, honestly, New York didn't have much to, they're playing with house money in a way. They played hard for the first half of the season, in my opinion. I think Washington really
In
just
the
dropped.
Last two games, we really put it on.
Last 2 games, they really played hard. Yeah,
to change the culture when it really mattered.
Yeah, momentum's big when you play a game in 8 months coming from now. But I think Washington really dropped the ball. They made it to the NFC Championship game, like you said, and they were worse. They had injuries, okay. To Daniels, they would have been worse even if they were healthy. They're lucky that they have a lot of these guys on 1-year deals where they'll still have some decent money to spend the offseason, which is kind of crazy. But, I think they sort of set the tone this year. Dallas always does a good job every year. I think you'd agree with me, Sean. They always feel a good team. They always field a good team. This year's team, I don't think, was as good as other years' teams where they've been, a real threat to win the division and go far in the playoffs. But we know who Dallas is. Even when they have great teams, they still will lose in the first round of the playoffs. This year, I thought their team was good, not great, and they still were disappointed towards the end of the regular season and just dropped off defensively, just awful. Yeah, Eagles, not as good as I expected. Still took care of business. They had the hardest schedule, probably one of the hardest schedules maybe in league history. Not the hardest, but I'd say probably like a top 10 hardest schedule.
I think the Giants technically had the hardest because we were the worst, and we still had to play all you guys.
Right,
Still,
true.
yeah,
I get
it was a tough schedule.
In that way of measuring. Sure, true. There's talented players on all four of these teams. It's just a shame that there either aren't enough talented players on other teams, or they're really deep at some places and just like it's either depth or just like overall talent, which hurts the other temes. But we'll see. They'll have some money to spend. Yeah, coaching too. Giants certainly made some noise at the end of the season, which I think, all joking aside, I think that you could move forward with Dart and you sort of hush. You won't be able to get a quarterback even where you're picking. I don't know if you'll be able to trade back that much either.
We'll see about that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm disappointed, but I could see this from Washington coming from last offseason, though. You just got older. And you need guys fast on defense. These guys have to get to the quarterback. They have to get to the runner. They have to get to the receiver. You don't want to give up space. And Washington gave up a lot of space, and that's why their defense was so awful.
Yeah, which actually I was just thinking about. Joe Witt, the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, has been fired. Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, has been fired. Shane Bowen got fired a while ago. Should have been fired before the season even started, but whatever. Yeah. You know what? There's a lot of things that should have been changed before the season started for the Giants. But I think that it's funny that 3 of the 4 defensive coordinators of the division have been fired.
Yeah.
After this season. I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, the Cowboys, that was really their Achilles heel. Their offense could have went toe-to-toe with anybody. Dak Prescott should have been the passing yards leader for the NFL this year, except they decided to bench him at halftime for Joe Milton, just because they know how to tank and lose, unlike the Giants. But I will say this, because there's a lot of. And I'm somebody who is rooting for the draft pick. I still want to see my team do well. Jackson Dart talked about how good it feels going into the season. I mean, I see the Bengals player like Joseph Asai or whatever, after the game crying in his locker room because he let up the game winner to lose the Bengals game. The players care, the players care.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fans that care too, and John Mara is diagnosed with cancer. We don't know what his future is going to be. I think that's one of the reasons too why Joe Schoen was retained. Even though there's other people that in that ownership program, John Mayer has been the one who's had the most power, and I think that he just wanted something consistent, especially while he's dealing with everything going on. There's some people that argue he's had enough time. Whatever. It's not a mom and pop shop. You got to move on. That's a big take. But also it's human. Do I think John Mara has made some mistakes? But you see John Mara get the game ball for that win. That might be his last Giants game he ever sees. You never know. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Like, you want it, like, draft picks, it makes more sense. But I also look at, like, all of these. I was never a draft pick kid growing up. I just cared about winning and losing. Like, it didn't matter if the season was over. I still just cared about winning. I didn't care about the draft pick. So, you know what? We played hard. Jackson Dart played well. Gunnar Olszewski got 100 yards. We made some plays on defense. Against Joe Milton, yeah. Was it kind of like a preseason game? Yeah. But it means something to some people. And I'm not gonna bitch and moan and cry because the Giants won a game. Although it does suck. It is stupid. It does suck. Because it keeps like the Raiders game. Like, you see, and that's the thing too that I haven't even talked about. Like, the Raiders ended up beating the Chiefs, which that was after the Giants already won. So, like, they already locked in the number 1 pick. So maybe they're like, whatever, we don't have to tank as hard. But just thinking that the Giants are that close to the number 1 overall pick sucks. Because that can change the franchise with all the abilities to trade back. But it's all hindsight 2020. I don't know. I think that's a fair thing. I think a lot of Giants fans are kind of just debating that reality.
I'll give the Giants some credit. I think it's unfortunate that they played, I guess, 2 weeks ago, or their second to last game, they played the Raiders, who might be historically the worst team maybe in NFL history. So if you're the Giants, okay, maybe if you were serious, maybe you would have shut down Jackson Dart. I understand that. They probably should have done that. Even if Jackson Dart doesn't play, you're probably beating the Raiders by a good bit. I don't think that's a good game for people to get mad at because the Raiders are so bad. Like, that's a tough one. Cowboys, it's tough for the. I mean, I don't know. It's tough for the Giants. I think what Washington did last week is worse than what the Giants did. They have nothing to play for, and they dropped 2 spots to, I guess, 7 maybe, when they need all the help they can get. The Giants do too, but I think that I don't know.
Talking about the Commanders beating the Eagles and
correct. Yeah, sorry.
I think they actually moved to 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but I think they would have had the pick over us based on strength of schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I thought was more dumb. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't want to rip Giants fans too much on that. I understand why they'd be upset. I get it. They're not. Okay. They're not. Giants fans aren't wrong for being upset. I get it. But I don't know. It's just been like, be happy, Giants fans, that I think that you found your quarterback at least for a little bit of time. And I think that helps too. So I thought they looked good last week too against Dallas, even though there wasn't much competition, which I wanted to see from Jackson Dart. So I don't know. Tough situation. I get it, Giants fans. I feel like this is a year where, like, we've seen this before from the Giants where they've won, like, the last 2 games of the season, like last year. And I think that was more reason of concern because you didn't have a quarterback. Now you have a quarterback, so I don't know. You're still drafting very high. I get it. I won't argue with Giants fans. They're right when they say that they needed to lose, but I don't know. Like, don't beat yourself up too much this year. At least you have more foundation of, you know, a quarterback, defensive identity. In my opinion, you're going to get Neighbors back, Scattaboo back eventually. I don't know when that will be, but yeah.
He looks like he looks like he's going to be back for week 1. Scattaboo.
Oh wow.
I don't know, but Malik Neighbors is still like he was still in like a whole contraption on his leg, and he even said, I think at the game, that he doesn't know if he'll be ready for week 1. All right. So, do you want to start with? You know what? I think we'll pay homage to all the teams that have been eliminated, and we'll start. We'll go worst to first, and then we'll preview the playoff games for the Eagles. I think there's already been a lot of ranting about the Giants. Me being a Giants fan, being a host. Jeremy being an Eagles fan, being a host. Like, we kind of focus on those teams. So we'll get to the Commanders. We'll get to the Cowboys. Well, and we won't be too harsh. But yes, the New York Football Giants finished 4-13, in a season where their GM is retained for the 5th season despite a terrible, terrible record. Honestly, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but they've been repeated a million times on talk shows talking about how awful. I mean, we suck. Like the roster looks worse than Dave Gettleman's, but for some reason Joe Shane's retained. Whatever, whether it's John Maris being sick, whether they want to give him a second chance, he's retained. Brian Daboll's fired. Like you said, for once. It doesn't feel like a failure because I do feel like we do have a good young core. And I don't want to sound like Joe Shane. I don't want to sound like a Joe Shane defender. But Jackson Dart is exciting. I think that, everybody's in love with Tyler Shuck towards the end of the year. Tyler Shuck didn't play the best opponents. And also, if you spread out their numbers throughout like a 17-game stretch, Jackson Dart is, he might not have the passing yards that Cam Ward and Tyler Shuck have, but total touchdowns, rushing, and passing, and also I think he ranks like second in EPA per play out of all first and second year quarterbacks. He's a good young bright star, and I hope he's here for a while because I got a Jackson Dart jersey for Christmas, and I'm sick of getting jerseys that I have to throw away, like my Evan Ingram jersey that's just been sitting at the bottom of my hamper.
Tyler Shuck's also 30 years old, so
Yeah, 26. And by the way, dude, I was a Tyler Shuck fan. You remember the pre-draft.
Yeah. What a year he had. Wow. I'm not even just saying that. Wow.
No, I honestly, Tyler Shuck is good, too. Anyways, I'm ranting here. Abdul Carter looks good. That's something that I also, when we're talking about like the draft picks, that's kind of on everybody's mind now that we just botched the draft pick once again. We beat the Colts in a meaningless game at the end of last season for whatever reason. We thought we had Cam Ward locked up. I remember watching the Miami game right before that game and then being like, that's going to be my quarterback. That's my guy. And then, bam, we win. And it all goes to hell. We fall in the draft order. But because of that, we ended up with Abdul Carter. We had to trade up for Jackson Dart. But, arguably, and I've heard other people say this, but I think ending up with Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart this year is a lot better. And, losing our third-round pick for this upcoming draft is a lot better of an outcome than just having Cam Ward moving forward.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if I like Cam. Like, if I might want Dart over Cam Ward, I'd have to think about it. But and I get that Cam Ward was in the worst possible roster ever. But still, it's 1 for 1. You have to think about, honestly.
Yeah. Talking about the season in review, obviously injuries are one of the biggest things. Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
Who cost me pretty much all of my fantasy teams because I love that guy and I think he's going to be great. He has, not even a quarter of play with Jackson Dart, like what we've been looking forward to seeing so much with that torn ACL, MCL on a pass from Dart in that game against the Chargers, which we won. Which a beautiful, beautiful memory. It's still crazy to think that we started this season with Russell Wilson. And I was one of the guys who was like, I think Russell Wilson has to be better than Daniel Jones. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones went on to almost be an MVP before getting hurt himself. It's just, it's been a crazy season. And it also came out recently that I guess Russell Wilson tore his hamstring right before that Cowboys game in the beginning of the season where he had one of the best games of his career. With a crazy overtime game. He had 500 passing yards. He looked amazing. And then the next week versus the Chiefs looked awful and then was benched ultimately for Jackson Dart. But, dude, I don't know. I'm thinking, obviously because of what we did, which was another, Joe Shane thing. Joe Shane decided that we needed to sign Jameis and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that was dumb.
I think which, I guess made us look less desperate in the draft for a quarterback. But I think we would have been much better off at the end of the day. I don't know how much Russell Wilson has helped develop Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I don't think it's that much. I think we would have been better off going into the year with maybe even starting Jameis for a week or two, realizing that it's fun but not sustainable.
Right.
Ultimately, we got Jackson Dart sooner than later, sooner than I expected. I feel like you were. Were you earlier on the Jackson Dart train? I know that there was a lot of preseason hype too, so I think people
I was later just because I thought they would want to protect him more, and then when they realized that they had to get him in, I thought okay, nothing you could do at this point, I guess. But I thought hold him off to protect him.
Yeah.
With the situation that they were in.
Yeah. I think in retrospect, because our O line played a lot better than I think anybody really expected this year. I think that the O line looks a lot better, and that is in due part to Andrew Thomas coming back, and he's literally should be an All-Pro. It sucks that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. I feel like because the Giants suck, nobody ever gives him the recognition. Giants fans don't care enough to vote, but like,
Pro Bowls are kind of stupid now. Yeah, I think Pro Bowl voting is stupid now.
Should at least be All-Pro. I hope he's recognized by the media.
Yeah, those are the All-Pro too. Yeah,
doing well, but yeah, Jackson Dart, man. I think in retrospect, in hindsight, the best thing is that he went in when he did. And I think if he started the year over Russell Wilson, if he did fail, they'd be like, okay, why did we start this guy too early? And you can't yank him. But after seeing Russell fail abysmally, I think that was the perfect setup. Because nobody wanted Russell. When Russell had to come in for one play, Brian Daboll had a conniption and went in the blue tent. I think it set up Jackson Dart where he didn't have any. He's like, you just have to not be Russell Wilson, who was awful. And he also was just awesome. He was electric. Like I said, that EPA per play. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the passing numbers, but if you watch these games, you're not thinking he's inept as a passer. Yeah, he's not throwing for 400 yards, but he's been efficient. He runs when he needs to. He bails out of the pocket when he needs to. Obviously, the concussion thing's been a big deal in the media, but as somebody who watches all the games, dude, I really don't think he's that reckless. He's been sliding a lot more too, But that's take away.
I think he was reckless in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think he definitely had. Yeah, I think he tried to be a Superman a few times.
Now, you're not paying him $50 million right now, which is where you really get concerned. But, if you want to be the future quarterback, I'm telling you, every time, when you have a quarterback under all that money, you have to root for them because they're on your team and you have so much invested in them. Every time they run, you get scared. It's just scary.
No, that's fair. I mean, to be fair, too, I don't get as scared as, when I see Jaden Daniels. Jackson Dart is tough, and he said this, too. He's like, I've always been tough. This is what I was praised for. This is why I went high in this draft. This is why teams wanted me. This is why I was productive in college. It's true. And the argument he makes is I've only missed 2 games in my entire career due to concussion or injury or whatever. He's not an injury-prone quarterback.
Right.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah. Daniels is a twig, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Daniels, on the other hand, man, he looked one of the concerns when he was drafted is because of how skinny he was. I had a lot of friends because I was a big Jaden Daniels. I wanted him on the Giants so bad. I mean, if you go back to the draft pods back then, I was just every draft I was just hoping he fell, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen. But a lot of people were scared because of how thin Jaden Daniels is, and we saw that this year. I mean, we'll talk about it with the Commanders, and that's definitely concerning going forward. I just want to go through all the team leaders here. Jackson Dart obviously started the most amount of games. I believe he only played 10 games total, but 2,272 passing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and what was it? Was it 10 rushing touchdowns? Let's see here. Doesn't even say. Nice. Should have had this pulled up. My apologies. Now I got a Jimmy John.
How many?
Rushing touchdowns. So 24 total touchdowns.
Okay.
I got a Jimmy John's commercial just freaking pounding in my ears over there while I was looking at that. Yeah, dude, I mean, 24 total touchdowns in 10 games played, man. I'll tell you what, the fact that the biggest concern is his injury, his recklessness in running, dude, that's nothing. Daniel Jones, who looked pretty decent in his rookie year, aside from the fact that he fumbled all the time, that was more concerning.
Yeah.
This is stuff that he can learn,
The one thing, I think the one thing that I would expand on the concerns with Dart would be, I think that he runs because he uses it as a crutch. I think he's a good runner, and I think that obviously he's a dual threat quarterback. I think he leans on running because he can rely on it right now and is better at it. I think he kind of gets, I don't want to say scared, but I think staying in the pocket, being able to survey the field, go through progressions, and he's still young, of course. So obviously, he has time to develop. So that's not the concern. I think those things are definitely a little behind from where he is right now. We'll see if he can stay strong in the pocket and use his arm more to move the offense as a whole. So I think that's where a little bit of the, it's not even the recklessness for me. It's the fact where it's like, let's move the ball in the air or through the air consistently. And we'll just see. And like you said, you don't have to throw for 350 yards a game.
No.
But you have to, your arm has to be a threat as a quarterback in today's NFL's offense. It always has, but especially today. I don't know how many teams. His arm isn't. It's not that it's bad, but like, I think they're going to focus on really having him become more confident in the pocket next year and really rely on him more to, instead of using his legs as much. Use his right arm. In my opinion, I think that
that's fair.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I think it'll be better for him to develop in the pocket for sure. But one of his strengths too is like even when he's scrambling, he's always keeping his eyes downfield. Like we've seen so many great highlight plays this year where I think against that last Eagles game too, where like he's scrambling, he's about to get sacked, but he's keeping his eyes downfield. And he makes the throw right before he gets hit, while he's running out of the pocket. Or he's scrambling, and he has like 10 yards in front of him, but right before he passes the line of scrimmage, he sees somebody downfield, and he still throws it. Like, I do like that. I like that he keeps his eyes downfield. So I think that's one of his strengths still. Like, and he said he's not a pocket. He's not Joe Flacco. He's not a pocket passer. I think definitely developing to where, like, especially with a good offensive scheme in place and, an offensive line that continues to be better, which, by the way, Carmen Brasillo, our O-line coach, said he's going to be back next year. I mean, with Joe Shane, unless the coaching staff really wants to get rid of him, I don't know how he would. He's been one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. I think that's probably something that you'd want to keep no matter who they bring in. He'll be back. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel good about Jackson Dart. I'm just going to go through all the leaders here. Tyrone Tracy Jr. finishes with 740 rushing yards, which is pretty impressive considering he lost his starting job to Cam Scadaboo. He was injured for a majority of games. When he came back, he was still kind of in a Devin Singletary split. I still don't like the fact that, like, it's just like a Kenneth Walker situation. Once Cam Scadaboo went out, like, Tyrone Tracy would be fighting, getting all these yards, get to the goal line, then bam, Devin Singletary time. I hate it. I hate that so much.
Especially because Singletary's 5'6". That never made sense to me. I get if he's their bigger backs or a fullback you want to go to. But did Tracy finish with over 1,000 all-purpose yards too?
That's what I'm double checking right here, but I feel like
he did.
Especially with he did, man. Yeah. Once again, another 1,000 all-purpose yards. I think he was like he was the only. Was he the only draft pick out of all of the skill players from last year to finish with 1,000 all-purpose yards? I think I saw that stat.
Oh, really? I saw some stat where they made it clear that it was a big deal that he got over 1,000 all-purpose yards. He's a good player. I've always liked him from the beginning of his NFL career. I know you were big on him from college. Early on, I mean, last year he was really productive, and I think that he kind of got buried going into this year, which I didn't understand as much. Obviously, Scadaboo's going to take touch, but like, wasn't he behind Singletary too early on? And I was like, I don't know. He's a talented player.
There was something that I don't know. I it was weird the way that they moved the backs around, but yeah, they did put in Devin Singletary a bunch. I think it was something that Tyrone Tracy said after week 1 where, like, they threw Singletary in over him week 2.
Right.
But,
maybe that was it.
I'll tell you what. With how good he played in, like, these last few games, like, since he's taken back over, and having 1,000 scrimmage yards, dude, he's awesome. Dude, and he's made some – because, former receiver, he made some great grabs this year, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and I don't know,
receiver,
like –
I feel good moving forward with him.
I don't know if he's a true number one. I have no problem. Obviously, if someone goes down and he has to be the starting running back for like a month, I have no problem with that. He definitely could be a running back one in the
Yeah.
NFL. I don't think he'd be one of the better ones, but like you really could slip him in there for like 4 to 6 weeks if you have an injury and not lose much. And he's surprised me. He's a nice player.
That's one of the things. Seeing that Joe Shane is being retained, like I don't think that we should because we have so many holes. But like, I wouldn't address running back in the draft unless like there's some steal later on. You know,
No,
like
especially
Cam Scatterbo and
if
Tyrone
you're getting
Tracy Jr.
Cam
is
back
great.
too. Yeah,
I wouldn't get anything but like a random depth guy in free agency. Like
no
I feel really
reason.
good about the running back position going in.
No reason to invest that much in running back with what you have already. Even if these guys are a little lesser, I still wouldn't invest that much in the running back. It's too much. You get so much, as you know, from fifth rounders, sixth rounders in today's NFL.
I mean, yeah, Cam Scatterbo was fourth round. I mean, he was awesome. A lot of people argue that he's not as good as like he looked, but like, listen, he was efficient as hell when he was out there, and he was a jolt of energy to the team. And Tyrone Tracy too, fifth round pick, and he's been awesome. Leading wide receiver for the New York Football Giants, Short King Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah,
Finishes with 1,014 yards, the shortest player to ever reach 1,000 yards in the NFL at 5'8".
Wow.
I'm proud of him. 92 receptions, average 11 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. Yeah,
how tall was Amendola? I'm gonna look that up.
I don't know if he ever made 1,000. Did any
I guess not.
make 1,000?
Oh, he was 5'11". No way, he was five. Probably more like 5'10", 5'9". Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good for
crazy,
Von
dude.
Bell. Yeah, he had a good year.
And
In a
Darius
in a
Slayton
year
still...
in a year where he has to get paid too, right?
Oh yeah,
Good
that's
for
what
him.
sucks, dude.
Good for him.
It sucks so bad, dude.
Sucks for you,
I
but
just,
good for him. In all honesty, yeah.
like, I don't know. I feel like he's not being. With Joe Shane staying, I feel like he might make a reach for it, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, after we paid Darius Slayton, which, like, I was okay with last year, because he got, I mean, looking in hindsight, he got, like, the same contracts as Josh Palmer and De'Ami Brown, like $12 million a year, whatever. De'Ami Brown didn't really do anything for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Nothing. And Josh Palmer didn't do anything for the Bills, and they needed
Jacksonville had
wide
to
receivers step up.
trade for Jacoby Myers midseason too, right?
Yeah, because Brian Thomas sucked too. I mean, every Giants fan is just wishing they could get rid of Darius Slayton because he just sucked. He sucked. And it sucks too. He lost another touchdown. Yeah, 2 years left after this year. Yeah, probably cut him after next year, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to part ways, dude. He was just so disappointing this year, especially when Malik goes down. He needs to step up. And even in that last game when they shut down Wan'Dale Robinson, Gunnar Olszewski gets 100 yards receiving, not Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton would have had 100 yards receiving if they didn't take back that offensive pass interference, which he had 2 this year where he had like 70-yard touchdowns, and it got called back for offensive pass interference, which both of them I think were questionable. One against the Eagles, one against the Cowboys, so very, very memorable.
Oh, yes, I remember, yes, the Eagles, yes.
Yeah, and then for defensive leaders, Bobby Okereke finishes with 143 tackles and 2 interceptions, which leads in tackles and interceptions. And then sacks, obviously, our sack leader, our glorious king.
Yeah, let's not bury the lead. Go ahead, Sean.
Brian Burns, baby. Brian Burns, 16 and a half sacks. I mean, he was awesome. He was, and I said this when we got him. I remember telling the PFF guy, who's now in, I don't know, check the mic, Sam Palazzola or whatever. But Steve Palazzola. But he came in to my job and I was talking to him because I know that he hated Brian Burns. And I said, Brian Burns did get 16 sacks. I might have said 17, which he was short of, which sucks. But regardless, he was like, no, because he never, I think he eclipsed like 12 sacks once. So this is a great year for him.
Very
I think it
good.
had a lot to do with Abdul Carter.
Yeah,
helping him out there.
Definitely had some talent around him, but very good at Florida State, was very good in Carolina, and
that was a big Joe Shane move. That's something they hit.
Yes, and then it took I think maybe an extra year, but what a year Burns had. I think he's going to be all pro across from
Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Myles Garrett, sack leader.
Yes. Yeah, the guy who had a few sacks this year in Cleveland. What's his name?
Yeah.
The guy who's already
yeah.
in the Hall of Fame and only 30 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a good pick, dude. That was a good pick. Yeah, but those are all the leaders. Obviously, Abdul Carter, I believe. I don't have it pulled up right here, but I mean, he led all the Giants in pressures. I think he was 12th in the league in pressures as well.
Pretty good.
Sacks weren't there, but dude, I mean, Abdul Carter was a menace, dude. Even in that last game against the Cowboys, didn't get a sack, multiple pressures, like multiple holding calls too. Like he was getting holding calls, called him all year, you know. And then on top of that, what he was doing, like messing with, with the pressures that he was causing to blow up plays, bunch of tackles for loss. Abdul Carter was great, you know. Yeah, so that's the New York Football Giants season, essentially in review. I don't think Kafka's coming back. I hope he doesn't come back. I know that there's some like mixed. People want the continuity thing. I think it sounds
2-0. Last 2 weeks, 2-0.
Yeah, finally, man. Last 2 weeks. I think he was 2-5 total. Yeah, so.
We started.
I mean, if you're looking at the standards set for Joe Shane, then. Yeah, he'll do. He will do. I think there's already been. The only interview that I'm fully aware of is that we have an interview with Kevin Stefanski, who just got fired from the Browns. So we'll end it with the question that's on most Giants fans' minds and most people that are concerned with the Giants whatsoever moving forward, and that's who is going to be the head coach. There's 6 vacancies in the NFL, Jeremy.
Yes.
For head coach. I still think the Giants are number 1. I'm going to read them off, and you tell me if you disagree.
Sure.
You got the Atlanta Falcons, who just parted ways with their GM, Terry Fontenot, and Raheem Morris.
Interesting.
You have the New York Football Giants, obviously.
Right.
I think Jackson Dart looks good. Good young core. Still have the 5th overall pick. I think it's pretty enticing. The Tennessee Titans, who, yeah, definitely. I would actually probably put that last. Although Cam Ward is exciting. I'm sure there's some coaches that'd be interested in that. You get the Las Vegas Raiders.
Nope.
After a one and done with Pete Carroll. I wouldn't put that above there. You got the Cleveland Browns, who parted ways with 2-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski. And you have the Arizona Cardinals, who I don't even know. I don't know what's going on there. Who's the quarterback moving forward? Jacoby Brissett? Is it Kyler Murray? They don't have enough draft capital to really draft a good one.
No one's going to want to trade for Kyler Murray either. And I assume not looking to the contract, there's still a few years left on that deal where he's making several $1 million per season. Yeah, Arizona, that job stinks. Raiders, that job stinks. Browns, that job stinks. Who's the other?
Falcons finished with the
Falcons is intriguing. Yes, with
the best record in the NFC South.
Correct. They have some good players on both sides of the ball, especially offense. They have a good owner in Arthur Blank, just as a person, I guess. Yeah. Atlanta's a good city too. You're not going to Cleveland.
Good stadium.
I'd say between Atlanta and New York. I guess I'd lean towards Atlanta because New York. There's a lot of pressure going to New York, and it's just a lot of people just can't get over that hump for obvious reasons. So I guess I'd lean towards Atlanta because they have a lot more going for themselves. But like New York, you're not going to be able to pick your own quarterback, which a lot of head coaches want. Actually, most of these places they don't get their own quarterback, especially the Browns.
Only the Raiders, really.
Maybe Shador is like something to really pursue for the Browns. But yeah, the Raiders don't get their choice. That's why the Raiders, I guess, are intriguing, but they're also so bad. I think Max Crosby is going to want out. I think any good players should want out. Yeah, I'd say between Giants and Atlanta. But let's hear your takes on candidates for the Giants.
Yeah. Well, these. I mean, there's been a lot listed. I'm not going to put any bank into anything that anybody's saying until we actually hear it, because there's always a lot of noise. But these are the candidates that I have heard. Jeff Hafley, the DC for the Packers, who I don't love. He was also the coach at Boston College. Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, who has done a great job. Aside from his performance against the Falcons a few weeks ago, which looked a little mid.
Yeah.
Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks.
Love him.
I like a lot. Good young mind. I like Shula and Kubiak the most, I think. I know that they but what we've been hearing is that the Giants want a CEO type. Mike McCarthy, who fits that bill of a CEO type, which
don't do that.
I don't. I've seen some people that are really. I'm like, are you guys trolling? Like, Giants fans are really into the Mike McCarthy thing.
Don't do that.
I like it. I like going through the comments to kind of like check the temperature. People really like that. I wish Brian Flores was a possibility, but I don't think so, considering he has a lawsuit pending against the Giants, and he was interviewed by Joe Shane before. I think maybe if we had a new GM, maybe, but. Yeah, no. And then there's Kevin Stefanski. Out of the fired head coaches, I think Kevin Stefanski is the only one who would actually.
Totally, I think he's a good option, and I think it's. Yeah. I think Stefanski's a good. I guess I get why the Browns are moving on, but he did the best. He's probably one of the best head coaches in Browns' recent history, and.
Oh yeah.
I still think he's okay, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people concerned with how he handled the Shedeur Sanders thing, but I mean, that's not really. Dude, Shedeur Sanders did not look good at the end of the season. I think there was a reason why he was hesitant to go to Shedeur. Maybe he should have went there before Dylan Gabriel. I think a lot of people can argue that. But if he gets the job for the Giants, he's going to check the boxes, at least in terms of what ownership wants, and how you handle Jackson Dart, and how you're going to build this offense, and what you're going to do. I think that defensively, though, I think we're going to go defensive-minded. I think you go offensive. Defensive. I would still be happy with an offensive-minded coach with a good DC, but especially if he brought Jim Schwartz over too from the Browns, be huge, dude.
Super Bowl defensive coordinator champion Jim Schwartz. Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of people wanted over the last several years have wanted offensive-minded head coaches, and now it seems like the defensive guys are getting some looks just because
Mike McDonald.
Defensive have just gotten so good, and I think defense have grown more than offensive have in recent years because they had to. They had to adapt to these modern day NFL offenses. I think that the defense have really picked up, and teams have realized that. And some of these defensive coordinators are just so elite. And you get a good offensive coordinator to do the offense. You're in business. So yeah, I see a lot of defensive guys. Becoming head coaches going forward. So we'll see. There are some options. Some more names will appear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. But we'll see. Like I said, my favorite is Chris Shula, but also, I remember going back in the coaching search when we hired Joe Judge and you guys hired Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni had that just abysmal press conference, and Joe Judge sounded so awesome. Everybody's like, I want to run through a wall for this guy. I'm like, you know what? And he sucks. And Nick Sirianni has been to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
And we've had now 3 head coaches since then.
You're missing one thing about you're missing one thing about being to the Super Bowl twice, too.
Oh, and you won once. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. I mean, you're right about it's tough because. Yeah, you want guys to sound confident. I remember Sirianni's press conference; it wasn't great. What you want guys who are obsessed with football and who are nerds and geeks about football, who really know the game. It's hard to find that guy. There are a lot of guys who fit the idea, but then when they get to the head coaching for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. But they're great. They're great OCs. They're great DCs. They're great assistant coaches. It's just hard to be a head coach in the NFL. Hard position.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. And that's why, people thought maybe John Harbaugh was going to be fired and he would be the number 1 candidate, but that's not going to happen. And people thought if the Steelers lost, maybe Mike Tomlin would be fired. And he'd be my number 1 candidate too. But it's even though they haven't gotten over the hump, they're still one of the greatest coaches. And
I remember, I guess it was 2 years ago when Raheem Morris was hired in Atlanta. I thought he'd do a good job. Yeah. It's just you don't get the team to transfer over from team to team, which I think you would have liked with that LA team, of course. So yeah, it's But that's where where maybe the Giants are in a better spot where they have a little bit of a formation on both sides of the ball, especially I guess defense. So we shall see.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot about the Giants. I think the Giants probably have the most questions in the soft. Well, maybe not the most questions, but at least in terms of the head coach search and moving forward with that. But the Washington Commanders, they're next up in the losers of who've been eliminated, and they finished at 5-12. They now have the 7th pick in the NFL draft because of the nice win over Tanner McKee and the Eagles with Josh Johnson at the end of the year. Like we said, this was their season from hell. They had all the primetime games because they made it to the NFC Championship, and they fall short. And obviously, there's parity in the NFL. I mean, I have all these, all me and my friends, and we put up our Super Bowl predictions, and there's so many teams that, you think were locks for the playoffs that didn't make it. Like, I have the Ravens. They didn't make it. There's a lot of Lions picks. They didn't make it. Vikings. They didn't make it. So there's a lot of parity. But, I mean, a lot of those teams, at least, like the Ravens, they were on the cusp. The Lions, they were eliminated a little bit earlier, but they were still on the cusp. The Vikings, even though their season looked awful halfway through, and they also dealt with quarterback injury, they finished with I think they were 9-8 maybe? They finished with a great record, despite all that. The Vikings.
Yeah, they finished 9-8.
Yeah, but the Commanders, their season just sucked. Jaden Daniels with the injury had that awful hyperextension elbow, really disgusting. They bring him back a little bit early. Guess what? Hurts his elbow again. Doesn't look good. He didn't look good while he was out there. I mean, it's awful. Like we said, I mean, Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator, he was fired, which makes sense. I mean, somebody had to be fired, and that defense just awful this year. I think I just lost it. I think the Washington Commanders, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's the thing. That's why it's year to year. Like the Giants, after their playoff season and then coming not just down to earth, but crashing into the depths of hell, you don't know what to you don't expect the playoffs again next season. And I don't think any Commanders fans are expecting playoffs next season with everything that's happened. Obviously, we have to see how their offseason goes. Like, they are sixth most in cap space. I think they have $90 million to spend, and they can move that around, $89, $90 million. How do you feel about this Commanders season, and how do you feel about them moving forward, Jeremy?
Well, there's a few thoughts that come to mind with the Commanders. Last year, they made it to the NFC Championship game. Very impressive. They had a lot of games in the regular season that were close, that were kind of flip of the coin towards the end. Of course, they won those games, which helped them, secure a wild card spot. Then beat, and then beat Detroit, and then who else? Who else did they beat in that playoff run?
No, they didn't beat the Rams.
Yeah, who was the other team? I'll look it up. But they obviously get to the NFC Championship game, and that's great and all. I've said it before. They're kind of like the Giants, though, from a few years ago when they made the divisional round playoffs after being the Vikings and then losing to the Eagles in 22.
Yeah.
That's great. You guys had a great year. Washington had a great year last year. But you got to progress. It's not – there's no –
Bucks.
The Bucks. Beat the Bucks and then I guess beat Detroit the following week. They didn't last year was fun, but this year was like, all right, now we have to get better. Then Peter spent money for a lot of old guys. Debo, everybody else. Bad strategy, and I'd be concerned. I thought Adam Peters was a good hire. The offseason was confusing. It definitely didn't work out. Now they have issues with Daniels staying healthy for the future, who they thought they'd have for 10, 12 years. I don't know where. I think Washington's in trouble. I think that they. I don't know. I don't think Dan Quinn's a great coach. I think that I get not fire him. I would have understood fire him in a way in today's NFL. Yeah, Jaden Daniels just not being a lock for the future for this team because of injuries, because of the way he plays, and just because of what happened this year in terms of how many times he got hurt. I'd be concerned. And playmakers too. They don't like McLaurin, still good, but now he's 30. Debo,
Yeah.
very injured, close to 30, if not 30.
And
I
a
didn't
free
think.
agent.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Oh, wow. Good for them to get off then have him walk because
Yeah.
he's not the answer there. They need better talent on the other side of McLaurin. Not that Debo's like bad, but you want someone better. And they need running backs. They need a tight end now with Ertz's injury. It'll be fun, but they just Peters had such a bad track record from last year. I don't see him flipping the switch in this offseason, but I'll have a few bucks to spend for sure. They have work to do when you wouldn't expect them to have so much work going into year 3 with Jaden Daniels after the year they had 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Austin Eckler too, whatever. He was part of the running back rotation.
Yep.
But behind Austin Eckler, you have Chris Rodriguez and Ja'Cory Groski-Merritt, because obviously you trade Brian Robinson to start the season, which wasn't the worst thing. But Austin Eckler tearing his Achilles, was it week 1 or 2? I mean,
it was early.
It was week 1 or 2. It was early. And then Terry McLaurin, you guys hesitated to sign into that big contract because he is 30 years old.
Yep.
And maybe he shouldn't have signed it because he missed almost the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
And does not look good. Although I think we were both pounding the horse. Like, you have to sign Terry. Everything that he did for the organization up until that point was never really injured. Coming off of his best year. But didn't work out, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't look back at how much money they gave McLaurin just to, I think it was like close to $3,100. But
yeah, in the meantime, I'll go over all the leaders for the year.
Yes.
Marcus Mariota finishes as the passing leader with 1,695 passing yards. And also 10 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Not the best. Just so we can look at Jaden Daniels, he finishes with 1,262 passing yards in 7 games, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also 18 sacks, which is crazy compared to
too much.
Mariota's 16. Yeah, not phenomenal. Ja'Cory Groski-Merritt, Bill Groski-Merritt, who is really fun for fantasy this year. Started off the year hot, then he really sucked, and then he kind of came back on towards the end. He finishes with 805 rushing yards, with 8 rushing touchdowns, and he was a nobody in the receiving game, though. I was wondering if he would make it to. He only had 68 receiving yards, so it was kind of a nobody in that sense. And then the receiving leader was Deebo Samuel, who honestly was kind of surprising. He only missed 1 game this season. He had 727 receiving yards, so he's still
not
he's
good.
He's not who he was. Let's be real.
And
even
looking at his stats, he against the Chargers he had 8 for 96, but he never had more than 100 yards per game. He had 70 yards or more 4 times.
Yeah. Hey, but Bobby Wagner, tackle leader, 162 tackles on the season.
Wow.
Still got it. Could still tackle. And I don't know if they bring him back for another year. We'll see.
He was certainly making a lot of tackles down the field with that Washington defense. Just to update you on Terry McLaurin, 3 years and $97 million. At his age, I think that's a little too much. But maybe you're paying a little bit of a luxury for what he's done for you too. It would have been hard to have walked from, I guess, but it's an expensive contract for what you got and what to expect from going forward. Again, you're not paying them for what they did. You want to pay them for what you think they're going to do going forward, and it's a lot of money for a guy his age.
Seems like Howie paid Saquon an extension for what he did, though.
A little different. That was. I'll jump in really quickly on that. His agent sort of nudged Howie and said, "Hey, that year my player just had, he more or less single-handedly won you the Super Bowl. How about a little bump in a raise?" And that was a lot of agent talk. So sometimes that happens, and it's it's a tough. You sort of have to go with it.
That's fair. That's fair. I just wanted that point to be made. Mikey Sanders-Silly finished with 4 interceptions, leading them in interceptions. I actually was looking. Where is their freaking sack leaders, man? Who had the most sacks here? Let's see. It was Von Miller Von Miller finished with 9 sacks.
Wow.
Still got it. Old man still got it.
That's crazy.
Dorrance Armstrong was second with 5.5.
And he was hurt for most of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because he got injured pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only played 7 games.
Von Miller with 9.
I don't know.
Holy smokes.
A lot of holes there, man. A lot of holes. I mean, what do you think? Joe Witt Jr. was fired. When I was looking into it, I saw a bunch of articles about we talked about this before. Commanders could hit the Eagles where it hurts. Sign Jonathan Gannon. I'm like, I think the Eagles are much happier with Vic Fangio than Jonathan Gannon, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need another defensive coordinator. Literally, figuratively, everything you can imagine. They are awful on defense. They need better players on defense too, personnel wise. But getting a better coach does wonders. I think you've sort of seen that in Philadelphia with Vic Fangio. You've seen it other places too. Houston, where they've had, I forget the guy's name in Houston. He's done a great job. It also helps that they have D'Amico Ryans as the head coach as well.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think it's Matt Burke.
Yes, Matt Burke. Matt Burke,
he's been a candidate for the Giants as well.
Very good, Sean. Yes, Matt Burke, who was in the Eagles organization. Oh, I forget when. A while ago. But he can get some head coaching looks too. But, yeah, him, Fangio, you bring in really good defensive coordinators. Sometimes the personnel doesn't matter as much, and they can win you a lot of games just off of their schemes. Of course, Washington needs to get better players on defense too. And they'll have some money to spend, but yeah, that defense it's got to start somewhere. And we both agreed going into the season, the defense doesn't scare you. No one on the defense, no unit scares you. It's still good players. Yeah, Wagner, Miller, still good players. They don't scare you. They're not going to wreck a game at their age. No one just scares you with Washington. Sanderson, good cornerback, sure, but
but he also had a rough year too.
Totally.
Even though he got he not compared to expectations in year 2. Didn't
again,
Lattimore obviously didn't.
It's like the honeymoon phase year 1. That's awesome what you did. How do you sustain it going forward year 2? And sometimes, and obviously numbers don't always tell the story, because if you have such a good year the first year, your numbers are slightly off the second. That's not the issue. It's just the play overall, how that transfers over in the years to come. And it's hard. It's a hard sport to maintain really good performances year in, year out. Never,
100%.
Never guaranteed.
100%. I don't know, man. Commanders going forward. We'll see. There's a lot of question marks. How is Jaden? Is Jaden actually going to be the guy? Is he? It's crazy that I would even be asking this. I think Jaden obviously is the guy. And even if next year he struggles, he with that Rookie of the Year performance, I think has definitely at least earned, 4 years. But that's, they could have another lost season next year and be picking first overall, and then who knows,
I think that's the biggest issue with Washington. You thought you had your franchise quarterback who was looking like a top 7 quarterback in the NFL year 1, and that sort of has been put on hold, to put it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Health. I think you're always going to be concerned about his health every game of his career, and that's, of course, everybody is in a way, but with him, especially the case, just because of his build, and that's where that's where the problem is with him going forward for an extended period of time. He's no locks with him when talent-wise. I think that you should feel a lot more comfortable with him on your team. Crazy.
Yeah. And Running back, I think, is still a big concern. Wide receiver now is
Yeah.
still a huge concern. Zach Ertz might have played his last snap in the NFL.
Totally.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of holes on this team. Yeah, I think going into this season, you'd be happier as a Commanders fan than a Giants fan. And I think that's flipped, which makes me feel good. Do you agree with that, Jeremy?
I would think, yeah. I mean, again, I guess Daniels is still very talented, and
Yeah.
but I don't have confidence just with how they approached last offseason in Daniels' health. So, in a way, sure, yeah, I guess I'm not a huge Dan Quinn guy. He's okay, but
Yeah.
and Washington also has, even though ownership is getting a little better, they're still, I don't know, interesting. Yeah. Again, I was more disappointed with, besides the fact, like, it wasn't even that just, like, Washington couldn't maintain how good they were last year. Because that's hard. It's hard to go, like, they set the bar so high with the NFC Championship. They were nowhere close to the team they were. Unlike the Giants last year, where the Giants were bad, and this year they were still bad, but moving in the right direction. Washington just got so much worse this year,
Yeah.
more than the Giants got.
100%.
More than the Giants got worse, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean it's.
No, it makes sense.
I don't like where Washington is for sure.
No, it's definitely rough. We'll see there. Anything else you want to talk about the Commanders moving forward? Oh, you know what? Rashad White. He said that he's trying to play with Jaden Daniels, so that might be your answer at running back.
Would be interesting, obviously, with Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving in Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay's been rocking way too many running backs as it is, so that could be an interesting.
Yeah, he's a free agent. I mean, I don't know if you saw that. He tweeted. He said 1 out, and then he tweeted a picture of him with Jaden Daniels because he played with him at Arizona State.
Oh,
Did he also play
true.
with him at LSU?
What's that?
For some reason, I thought Rashad White went to LSU too. Am I wrong? Did he
I
fall
don't
into
think
LSU?
so. I think he was a
Just
state.
Arizona State.
That would have been interesting. Wow.
Yeah. No, I must have just been Arizona State. All right. Anything else for the Commanders before we get to the Cowboys?
Nah, let's get to the Cowboys.
All right. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team. First year under coach Brian Schottenheimer, and you know what? I think Brian Schottenheimer actually did a pretty damn good job. Considering he was the offensive coordinator, the offensive-minded guy, I think Matt Eberflus sucked, and he's been fired for sucking, which I don't know. Matt Eberflus, like, I don't know why they even hired him in the first place. I guess you think former head coach, maybe he can keep it up defensively. That was not the case. They finished 7-9-1 with a very meaningful tie against the Packers in the Micah Parsons Bowl. And, yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Micah Parsons, that trade kind of like marred them. Obviously, they had the in-season trade for Quinnen Williams, which I honestly, I do applaud the Quinnen Williams trade. I think that was good. Preston Smith, the trade for him was like, whatever. That was just kind of thrown in there in the Micah Parsons package.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely disappointing for the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys are always like at least make the playoffs, and obviously the fan base thinks it's the Super Bowl year every year, which I don't. I mean, the offense was Super Bowl caliber.
Yeah.
The defense was not.
Yeah. It's funny too because like in previous years, I think that Dallas has had better offenses than this year. Not to say obviously their offense statistically was very, very good this year. But even in previous years, I think that their offense has been even better. Well, they've had better defenses too to go along with it. But yeah, Dallas is Schottenheimer. What do I think that he did? How do I think he did this year? Okay-ish. I don't know. I think that this is a team that has too much talent to not make the playoffs. Meaning that at the very least you get a wild card spot. They didn't do that. They had bad moments in the middle of the year. They then tried to ramp it up, which they did, and then they collapsed at the end in embarrassing fashion. Yeah, their defense was awful. Although I think I apologize for not having the stats for this. When Dallas's offense went up against good defenses, their offense looked pretty pedestrian, and I mean that in the worst way possible. So I'd have to look it up. Yeah, the story of the year was their defense was awful. They found a little bit of a running game this year, which was nice in a change, especially because Rico Dowdle I thought was really, really nice in Carolina this year. I think he tailed off a little towards the end, but he was better, especially when it didn't look like he was great in Dallas last year. But I don't know. Yeah, they're going to have to reset. Pickens as a free agent. They're probably going to, at this point, they're going to have to overpay to bring him back. Maybe they don't even bring him back. They're still paying Dak $60 million a year against the cap. Oh, this team. They're always entertaining, Sean, in their own way possible. Dak had a good year statistically. Overall, I guess it was good too. But he didn't make the playoffs.
30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,500 passing yards.
Yeah, I want to see some. I wish
99 passer rating.
Is that what
99.5 passer rating?
What was his
QBR?
Yeah, what was his QBR? I guess they do that year. It's not just a per game thing.
Let's see. QBR. 70.6, which ranked 5th in the NFL. And he also was in first place mid-season with a 79.5.
What's the rate? I thought QBR was rated out of 158.3. What's that stat?
Oh, I think that's passer rating.
Oh, that's passer rating? Oh, you might be right. What was his passer rating?
99.5.
Do you know what that was ranked in the NFL this year?
Let me tell you, dude. Let me tell you. But honestly,
putting you on the spot here. Yeah, I also think passer rating also.
Let's see, 20, 25. Passer rating for the 25 NFL season as of late. Hovered around 99.5 to 102.6. Finished with 99.5, according to ESPN.
I have it. He was 10th.
10th?
Yeah.
Who was above him?
Drake May at 1, Stafford 2, Goff 3, Lamar at 4, Josh Allen 5, Jordan Love 6, Joe Burrow 7, Brock Purdy 8, Daniel Jones 9, Dak Prescott 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also have.
Wait, Drake May was 1, right? Drake May?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's what I have here.
I also kind of have issues with that stat, so I don't even know why I brought it up. But yeah, I guess statistically he's fine. There's still something about I have this stuff about certain athletes where there's something that's missing, and they're not in the playoffs with the way he played and the way some of his receivers played around him. I guess I guess the defense was bad, but I still think find a way. But yeah, they're get better players on defense, get a defensive coordinator, like we said with the Giants and Washington, and yeah.
I have seen I mean, Matt Eberflus was fired this morning, but I have seen like a bunch of articles about Brian Flores being their ideal. I'm like, oh, Brian Flores is your ideal candidate? No shit. He's like everybody's ideal candidate. I think he's gonna get I hope he gets a head coaching job. I think he deserves it. And I've seen a lot of ties to the Raiders, and I think that he'd be good. Raiders or Browns, dude. Think about what that defense, man. Like, could be good.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. He also, with how he handled Tua when he was the head coach of the Dolphins, I feel like he would give no shit. Like Shedeur Sanders would have no leash. Like, he would have to be on his P's and Q's, But
yeah.
Anyways,
They have Brandon Aubrey's a great kicker.
Although he wasn't against the Giants, dude.
That is true. That is true.
Decided to turn it off against the Giants, man.
That, yeah.
Which I'm like, dude, whatever. Screw the Cowboys. They wanted to out tank us. That was so cool, putting in Joe Milton at halftime. And you know what? The Giants beat the Cowboys for the first time since Dak Prescott's rookie year.
Wow.
2016.
At home or in general?
No, in general.
He has had your number.
Was that the first time we beat Dak Prescott? I think that might have been the first time we beat the Cowboys in general, dude. Because I remember, like, the Cooper Rush games thinking, like, oh, okay, well, we're going to beat him, but we're going to have Cooper Rush. No, we still lost.
Yeah, they need get a new defense. Literally get a new defense, and I guess try to figure out something more long term at running back. Maybe how long? I assume.
Dude, Javonte Williams played so good this year, though, dude.
Yeah.
And also, hey, they're two rookie running backs. Both scored a touchdown week 18 against the Giants. Phil Maffa and Jadon Blue. Jadon Blue was playing out of his mind in the first half, and then they decided, oh wait, we're playing too good. We want the Giants to lose, or to win. So I think they yanked him.
Yeah.
Contract.
I think for Williams, the big thing was that he was able to.
Oh, so there was a 1-year contract for.
Right, and I think he might get paid now. And he was able to. He didn't really get hurt this year, so.
No.
What did he finish with? 1,200 yards rushing.
Well, he had the neck injury. That's why he didn't play last week. He had that neck.
Oh
injury
yeah. But I mean like long.
The Vikings.
I mean like considering his career, like. Well, he's been
with
pretty.
Knee injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, he's been pretty out. Wow.
I mean, he finishes. He was in the top of the rushing yard leaders all year, but he finishes 9th with 1,201 rushing yards.
Yep.
11 rushing touchdowns.
What do you have? 11 touchdowns.
11 rushing. Did he have any receiving touchdowns? Yeah. So 13 total touchdowns. I mean, dude, like he was awesome this year, man. To be real.
Yeah, he was good.
But hey, they could also just bring back Rico Dowdle, who had a good year too. I think he was also on a 1-year deal. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
I think you stick with Javonte. I think he earned it. But also, who knows, dude? There's a lot of good running backs this upcoming class, and they pick 12th, I believe. If Jeremiah Love falls to them at 12, that's their guy.
You think? It would be a Dallas move.
So. Very, very Dallas move. Our defense still sucks. Our offense is awesome. Let's just get even better.
I know. They need a. Oh my God! They could get a good defensive player. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, well, their defense finished last in the NFL in points per game.
Yeah.
30.1 points per game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they did finish first in pass yards per game. Yeah, and the leaders, because we've done the leaders for every team. You got Dak Prescott, obviously. He finishes third in the league with 4,552 passing yards. You got George Pickens, who also finishes third in the league in receiving yards with 1,429. And then Javonte Williams, like I just said, who finished 1,201, 9th in the league. And then, let's see, who they got for the tackles was Shamar James. Shamar James, right?
Yeah, the linebacker.
Yeah, 97. Or 91 tackles. And Donovan Wilson, a team that has had Deron Bland and obviously Trayvon Diggs, who now is no longer with the teams. Donovan Wilson was their interception leader, 2.
Interesting.
Safety Donovan Wilson. Yeah.
And then, of course, they cut Trayvon Diggs, who was picked up by the Packers.
Which I saw that coming from. As soon as I saw he was cut, I was like, he's going to the Packers. I knew he was going to the Packers. He wanted to rejoin Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he would have went to the Patriots if his brother wasn't dealing with legal troubles.
That was not a great week for the Diggs. I guess Trayvon was picked up and he's still going to get the money from Dallas, but not a great week for the Diggs family. But yeah, Dallas. Listen, kind of another team that just needs to bring in good players on defense.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else for the Dallas Cowboys before we get to So the lone playoff team, division winner, Philadelphia Eagles.
No, I think we can move on.
All right, Jeremy, your Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
They finish with a record of 11-6. They finished with the 3rd seed in the NFL playoffs. Could have had the second. Could have had the second. And then you guys would have been playing the Packers, which would have been fun. But now you guys are playing the 49ers at 4:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah.
This Sunday, January 11th. What's it? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, January 11th. Yeah.
Yes. January 11th.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we just got to recap all those teams because their season's over. It's done, dude. It's hanging up the cleats. How envious I am of you. How envious I am of you and the Philadelphia Eagles. Who would have thought? It's a painful feeling. How does it feel, dude? How does it feel breaking the 20-year stretch of different division winners?
It's nice. It's a weird stat. It's something that truthfully I wouldn't really celebrate just because obviously it's been great that the division's been so competitive like it has for over 20 years in the NFC East. It's a bigger deal than it should be, I think, just because of how remarkable it's been where you haven't had a repeat in 20 years. That just is so crazy. But it's cool. It's definitely something that, you want more things going forward than that, but it's definitely something to acknowledge just to show like how difficult the division's been for 2 decades now. I know there have been a few years where it's sort of been on the lower end, but it flip-flops at the top. It flip-flops at the top every year, and there were some years where it looked like it wouldn't, and then it does. So it's pretty impressive, overall.
Yeah.
And hopefully they continue to make a little more history this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hopefully they don't. Hopefully it's one and done. Hopefully the Niners knock you guys out. I'll just go over your season leaders real quick, and then we'll get into it. Jalen Hurts finishes with 3,224 passing yards. Passer rating of 98.5, if that means anything. Only 1 point below Dak.
That was good for 12th in the NFL. Yeah.
12th in the NFL. Yeah. Obviously, pretty up and down year for Jalen Hurts. I think he got a lot of hate, deservingly so. I think he definitely moved down the barometer. I think Dak has taken best quarterback in the division as of right now.
I think it's an interesting point that you're making right now, Sean. I think in terms of statistics and performance, yes, I think if you want the winning side, which I don't think is necessarily a quarterback stat, but there's something about it where there's a quarterback identity, I'm still taking Jalen Hurts. But yeah, I think from a stat and performance perspective, yeah. Dak was definitely better than Hurts this year for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I feel like it flips up. I think even in the offseason, I had Jaden Daniels as the number one. So
yeah, it really does change. You're right. It really does change every year. It's just weird because the Eagles are still in the playoffs and Dallas isn't. When I think Dallas should be in the playoffs for what they had going. Does that speak to Dak? I think so, but how much weight does it put on him? I think it should. You have to balance how much you put into it, just because it's hard. It's hard to assess like who gets more blame. He's making $60 million, hurting the cap, but he still played well for Dallas, like really well. I don't know. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting. Saquon Barkley still finishes with 1,140 rushing yards.
Yes.
Despite. And I guess that's good for, I'm just doing quick math here, 1,323 total yards?
All purpose. Yeah, they, if anybody watched the Eagles this year, their run blocking was
not good.
Their run blocking was atrocious. Oddly enough, for some reason, their pass blocking was pretty solid. It wasn't like amazing top, top passing line or blocking, whatever. But it was
Yeah.
definitely top five. I think they were pretty solid. They just they didn't block well for Saquon. I think Cam has been going through just major back injuries this year. Landon was hurt
Yeah.
too.
Nate Jones.
Steen was not amazing against the run, but was pretty solid in pass protection. Lane's been out. That's hurt. It's been weird. They haven't had a standard offensive line for the season, and I think that last year's effort for the offensive line was amazing, top one. But I think there was some wear and tear going to this year too. So unfortunate, but you know we're here right now, so we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, definitely. You'd be it's weird when something that's been so consistent, like your O line being so great and
Yeah.
being a great run blocking O line. It's weird when that just kind of crumbles.
And maybe the O line, the Eagles have made the playoffs 5 years in a row every year under Nick Sirianni. Maybe it's just that this is after 5 years, it's hard to like continuously maintain this really good O line that they've had, and maybe that could be the thing.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah, receiving yard leaders ends up being Devonta Smith with 1,008 yards.
Yes.
77 receptions. But A.J. Brown, dude, it's so crazy how, like, A.J. Brown, 78 receptions, 1,003 right there.
Yes.
7 receiving touchdowns for A.J. Brown. Touchdown leader was Dallas Goedert with 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
He will be a free agent this year, as he was last year. And I think that I don't know if you agree, Sean. I think the tight ends are measured primarily in one stat, and that's touchdowns, which other positions aren't necessarily. But
Yeah.
I think tight end's a little different. And when you score 11 touchdowns as a tight end and have the track record that Goddard has, I think that he will get good coin in the offseason. So
From you guys or no?
I don't think we'll be able to afford him. I think somebody will throw him more bones than we will. So
Yeah.
we want to take a pay cut.
Maybe the Commanders, dude. The Commanders
Maybe.
love retread Eagles.
Maybe
fans.
he is 30, which works against him a little bit. But with the season he had by the end zone, he's always been reliable. When he gets the ball, good things happen. Just down the field and just with first downs with his ability. So yeah, I think he will be on another team next year. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Zach Bond. Yeah, that is. I mean, we'll see. Kyle Pitts is also a free agent too. I mean,
Yeah.
the market's going to be pretty decent. We'll see
Yep.
if Kyle Pitts makes it to the market. They got a new GM over there. They're going to have a new GM over there in Atlanta, so we'll see. Yeah, Zach Bond leads with 123 tackles, and Jalix Hunt, your defensive end, technically outside linebacker, former safety, correct? Is that
Correct. Former safety at Cornell. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 interceptions, leads you guys in interceptions, and your sack leader is Jalix Hunt as well, 6.5, dude.
It's
Jalix Hunt, good
it's,
third round pick, man.
he was fun. He was great this year. He was similar to Abdul Carter, where he really shined with the pressures and really strong rushes and getting into the backfield early and often, which was great. He was great. He's developed incredibly. Was great in the Super Bowl last year and the playoffs too. Zach Bond, special player, so good. Well, he was just a beast again this year. It was great to have in the middle of the field. And then, of course, the corners with Cooper, with Quinyon Mitchell. Great, they're fun. They're great players. They're so young.
Yeah.
Very.
Vic Fangio has a good grasp on him.
Very fortunate to have them. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and you guys finished 5th in the league defensively with allowing 19.1 points per game.
Yes, the points per game was pretty solid. I think statistically, overall defense probably was around mid 15 or 13. That's not how they played for most of the year, but early on in the year they just gave up a lot of yards, which I've said before on the podcast. I don't care about yards. If you're giving
Bend
up
don't
field
break.
goals, exactly. If you're holding them from scoring as a whole, or if they're settling for field goals, I don't care. Now, don't time of possession is important. So if each drive is like 8 minutes, not great. But yeah, so the fifth in defensive scores, that's awesome, and they've shown it over last few months. They've been amazing. Wish the
Yep.
offense were a little better. That would be nice, but defense has really carried the weight. And we saw this last year too. And I'll stop talking after this, but we saw this last year with the Eagles.
No, keep
And
talking,
they're
Jeremy.
we saw this last
Keep
year with the
talking.
Eagles defense too, where even though the offense played well in the regular season, the defense really carried this team last year for a lot of games going through the list. And then, of course, the offense just blew up against the Rams in Washington and the Chiefs in the playoffs and Super Bowl last year, which was great. But, the defense has been playing this way last year, and they lost so many players to free agency, and guys just stepped up in their place, which was great, who will probably also be getting paid now. But, good problems to have, I
That
guess.
seems to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys lost some key players in the offseason, obviously.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat, Milton Williams,
No, Williams, yep.
who I think is now hurt with the
He's
Patriots,
hurt.
but was really good
Yeah.
with the Patriots.
When he was healthy, he
yeah.
was putting up some decent
Yeah.
numbers. Sweat had double-digit sacks, I think. Wow.
Yeah, which you guys could have used. Yeah.
No doubt.
6.5, yeah.
He was a very streaky player here towards the end, but again, he also was great in the Super Bowl, so never a bad word to say about him. But good for him for being more consistent in Arizona. Bad team, but
Yeah.
impressive too because he's not he's a little more lean as a rusher. So he relies on speed, and as he's getting older, might be tougher, but good for him for this year for sure.
We forgot to say the Cowboys sack leader, which I think is precedent because obviously they traded Micah Parsons, so it was a big deal. Jadeveon Clowney with 8.5 sacks. Although I think 2 of them came against the Giants on Sunday.
Oh,
but,
that's funny.
Yeah, James Houston was second with 5.5.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
like James Houston.
I guess Clowney's. They signed him on a one. He might make some money in this offseason. We'll see.
Dude, he's still a great player, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Even before the Giants game, he was having. I remember I read an article on like how he's played like at a decently high level. So
yeah.
I don't know if teams want to give him more than a year. It sort of seems like that's working a lot, but yeah.
Yeah.
He might
because
make
he's
some
just
money.
older,
Totally.
And I feel like at his age too, like 32, like he's gonna be 33 next season. Whatever,
Yeah.
that's how age works. But I mean, I feel like he should just want to go to a contender, but also some place where he can play, which is why I think he picked the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Who obviously are not a contender, but could have been.
Listen, defensive rotate. So anytime a lot of teams don't mind having 5 ends on their team because of the rotation.
Which was the Cowboys this year, man. I mean, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, so we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, we shall see. Anything else you want to talk about for the Eagles before we start previewing their game? Because we still have more Eagles left, dude.
Still have more Eagles left. No, we can jump into that. I think overall with the Eagles in the regular season, a little more disappointing than you thought. Their schedule was very hard. They won the division, of course, first time back-to-back in 20 years, like we mentioned. It was productive. I think it helped that the division didn't hold up. Even though I thought the division was on the layer side after them, it still didn't hold up for the entire year like I thought it would. But, they had strong wins throughout the season. Chiefs early on. Dallas week
Yeah, you guys had a
1.
real tough loss.
Detroit.
Real tough loss to the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was when, oh my God, the Giants looked like the 2007 New England Patriots regular season. Because, of course, we know who beat them in the Super Bowl that year.
The New York Football Giants.
That's right.
Giants.
Bad loss for sure.
That's what
Then
we live
great wins against Packers on the road, short week then coming up, then a good win Detroit. Defense has really been great, so we'll see going forward.
Been stepping up, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 3 seed Philadelphia Eagles will take on the 6 seed San Francisco 49ers in Philadelphia, obviously home field advantage. And what's the spread, Jeremy? Do you know?
Yeah, I heard. I don't know what it is now, but what it opened at Eagles minus 3.5. I don't know what it is now, right though.
Oh, it's moving, baby. It's moving. Which direction, dude?
I would think Eagles favor. I would think maybe it's at 4.5 now.
You got it. You know it, dude. You know it.
I didn't know if to go higher, and then it's weird because I go, okay, maybe it just moved a little, 4, or maybe it moved a lot, 5 or 5.5. So I tried to go the middle, I guess. But yeah, 4.5 sounds right. I think it might go up a little more, maybe get up to 5 eventually, but we'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the 49ers, I mean, this has been like the whole season has been their injuries. And I just saw Tatum Bethune is now out for the rest of the season. And Fred Warner is not ready to return, despite there's a lot of things saying that maybe he could. Apparently, I don't know if it would be the divisional round or NFC Championship. Yeah.
Apparently he can return around then, but it won't be for the wild card matchup.
Hey, man, if this is a game where Saquon Barkley reemerges as superstar Saquon Barkley with all the injuries on the linebacking core.
Yeah.
I think this could be
We've said that before.
Although Alfred Collins is great in the defensive line, dude. I love Alfred Collins.
Yeah, the Texas product, the nose tackle.
He's been playing great this year.
It's funny you say that about Saquon because I feel the same way. I do feel that about Saquon. I feel about Jalen Hurts too. San Francisco's secondary is just not that good, and this is a game where you can really throw on a team like the 49ers. So,
and no pass rush.
Yeah. Right.
Their defense sucks.
The only guy on their pass rush I can think of who's okay might be Bryce Huff, and we know who Bryce Huff is. So it really is a game for the offense. Like I don't know. It seems like they're trying to give it to you, so try to take it, I guess. But that'll be a job for the Eagles offense to figure out on a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean it's really like the Eagles who have a phenomenal defense against the 49ers offense. It's still amazing. I think Trent Williams should be back, though, right?
Yes, they said that Trent and who was out? Who else? Was it Ricky Pearsall who was out last week?
Yes. Yeah.
They said that both of them, if the game was on Sunday, the next day instead of Saturday, they probably would have played. I don't believe that, but if that's overall, I assume they play this Sunday coming up. Yeah. Yeah,
looks like they should, based on what I just read.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, man. I mean, like, it's a good. I think the only because I'm looking at it from a 49. I want the 49ers to win. Let's be real, dude. Like,
yes.
And once your team is eliminated, you want your division rivals to be eliminated as soon as possible. I mean, like 2 years ago was so great when the Cowboys and Eagles both got eliminated week 1. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And then last year was my nightmare. Nightmare. it was. That's pretty much been the Giants. Start doing this podcast. It's been nightmare. Not good, man. But yeah, the 49ers, man, it's gonna come down really to their offense. I mean, Robert Saleh has been doing a good job with all the injuries on the defense of putting together a pretty decent defensive product. I'll tell you what, dude, Upton Stout, man, their rookie cornerback out of I think Western Kentucky or whatever, dude. He was
I think he was
against the Seahawks.
I want to say South Carolina,
I thought he was Western Kentucky, but I might be
maybe, yeah, he was some, yeah.
Let me look it up, dude. Not that this really matters. Upton Stout probably won't be the. Who knows, dude? Maybe he will be the game changer here.
Hopefully in the other way, yes.
Yeah, Western Kentucky. Yeah, the Hilltoppers. But who knows, man? Who knows? I think. I mean, if I had to pick a prediction here, I would probably go Philadelphia Eagles. Just because I think. Your offense, despite how it's been inconsistent up and down throughout the year, you guys have a pretty good defensive matchup with all the, liabilities in the 49ers defense. And your defense is amazing despite the fact that the 49ers, I mean, the 49ers looked pretty rough against the Seahawks kick-ass defense on
Yeah.
Saturday. And the Seahawks have the best defense in the league, arguably, behind the Texans. Could go either way week to week.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give us a score prediction for your? Obviously, you're going Eagles here. I don't see how you.
I'm going Eagles. I think it's going to be tough for San Francisco to go on the road from coast to coast. I would like the San Francisco team a lot more if they had Warner, if they had Nick Bosa, if they had what's his name, Brandon Ayuk too. Obviously, that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
if they had those guys, I assume they win. Yeah, I assume they win the West if they have them, so they wouldn't be playing them round one. But yeah, I think the Eagles win. I think they're just a better team. Good team for San Francisco, though. I mean, they won how many games they won? So
11 games, I think.
Yeah. So like they had a good year, of course. I think they would be scary if they weren't as hurt. I'll go Eagles. Oh, this is tough.
No, 12-5. Actually, they finished with a better record than the
more wins for
Eagles.
sure. Yeah. They did have an easier schedule. They didn't play many good teams overall, but they still won, and they won with Mac Jones.
I mean,
too.
hey, they're in the toughest division with the NFC West. I mean,
true. Yeah, they earned some good wins in division. Yeah. Definitely, I think when it came out of it, sure. I'll go Eagles. This is tough because I don't know. 31. 30-17 Eagles.
Oh my gosh, dude! You're thinking they're gonna kick their ass.
Well, it's just with the defense.
Wait, you said 30-17? 30-17? 31-17.
30-19.
30-19?
Yeah.
You're changing it up on me, dude.
Yeah, I changed it 2 times.
What do you think, that they're going to safety up in there?
The Eagles have just had weird scores between if it's them or the other team, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think the Eagles are going to cover. No, I don't know, man. Honestly, I could see the 49ers winning, dude. Like, the Eagles have been so inconsistent this season. Man.
Yeah.
Like, so I like, there's been past years, like last year I would have said Eagles, no, like, they were just a powerhouse going into the playoffs. And obviously they benched their starters going into, like, the last week, but.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 49ers, 27, Eagles, 32. You guys cover the frickin' spread.
That would be big scoring and
high scoring game. I mean, what is the over under on this? I feel like it's probably 44.5. So yeah, that would just crush that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the high. I mean, the highest over for the playoffs.
Too, I guess.
Yeah, highest over for the playoffs is the Bills Jaguars, which that'll be fun, man. Yeah, I'm excited, dude. I mean, we have it there. Like, who is your biggest concern? Yeah, say you know, if you're making a Super Bowl run, who's your biggest concern in the NFC in the playoffs?
The Rams. Seattle's defense is so good, but it's still Sam Darnold. I don't know, and I feel like this is a defense that would just rattle. So, like we saw last year in Minnesota in the playoffs, he got rattled, and so yeah, I think the Rams, even though they've kind of been bad the last month, Stafford is probably the MVP overall. Top to bottom, they're very good. I'd go probably the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think that's probably the safest bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that the Seahawks, and I know like they're the 1 seed, so it's like kind of, but I really do think the Seahawks are that team. I think the defense is good. I think their offense
is really good.
Fully capable. Sam Darnold, that 49ers game was essentially a playoff game, and he played well. He played like, whereas like, you know, the Vikings didn't give him a contract because the last 2 games of the season,
right, he
just fell flat.
Yeah,
I know the Vikings are rooting for the Seahawks to go down, but dude, I'm rooting for Sam Darnold, dude. I think they're an underdog team.
It was a good
despite being the number 1 seed, you know, like going into the season.
Yeah, it was a good win for Seattle, no doubt. They still only scored 13 points against the Niners, but you know,
that's true.
There is they've done it all season, so You gotta tip your cap to them somehow.
It was also that was a super rainy game, dude. That was like a mess of a game.
Yeah.
Am I making that up? No, I'm not. Oh no, the rainy game was the Bucks Panthers game. That's what it wasn't. It was still.
Oh yeah, that was
maybe bad weather. That was like atrocious weather. But yeah, I'll tell you what. Definitely. What I'd be rooting for honestly is the Panthers, but I don't have any faith in that. I just love to see the underdogs go. But I think if I had to give you my Super Bowl prediction now, I had it as the Packers-Ravens going into the season. Obviously, that's not happening with the Ravens. I think that this is the Bills' year. Let's be real. Is that the AFC team that you're most afraid of? Is the Bills?
I would think so. Yeah, I think that we barely beat them early on, and
2 weeks ago, dude. Khalil Shakir. That was a Josh Allen poor pass.
Yeah,
for the 2-point conversion, but yeah,
they're good.
That's it.
And everyone else is so young too and inexperienced, but they've done good jobs at the regular season. But it feels like this is the Bills' year. They don't have to go through the Ravens. They don't have to go through the Chiefs. They don't have to go through Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, Buffalo. This is it. It feels like
this is the year. This is the year. Although the Texans, I think, are a sneaky underdog too.
Yeah,
good defense. I could see a Texans Seahawks Super Bowl. That's who best defensive teams. So.
Would be interesting.
Anything else you want to say, Jeremy, before we wrap this bad boy up?
Nah.
No. You don't want to say anything about your team that's about to go into the playoffs and play? Nothing.
Well, I'm excited. Listen, it feels weird with the Eagles because I feel like they're a lot better than what they've shown this year, but they've also shown what they've shown, of course. So it feels like they could beat anybody right now. They have the experience. It also feels like, a lot of teams can beat them too at the same time, which is weird. Yeah. NFC is really competitive. There are a lot of good overall teams, which on the other side with the AFC, I don't think I'd say the same. I think it's really wide open, the AFC. So kind of unfortunate there. But yeah, it's a NFC conference this year is really
it's tough, dude. It's
tough, yeah.
Think about how many great teams, like 9-win teams that were awesome that just fell short, dude.
Totally.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of 9-win teams. But Giants are not one of them. Next year they will be. Or Joe Shane will definitely be fired. And the Commanders, who knows? Maybe they could turn it around. Maybe Jaden Daniels comes back better than ever and Adam Peters figures out how to actually build a roster with all that cap space. And maybe the Cowboys hire Brian Flores, which isn't likely, but maybe they get a defensive coordinator that doesn't suck like Matt Eberflus and make some good investments, maybe get another pass rusher, and turn that around. We'll see. But for right now, the season's over, and I'm already in draft mode. I think the Giants should draft Carnell Tate. That's my guy right now, but who knows? It'll probably change 10 more times before the draft actually comes up. Actually, I don't think it will. I think it's Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate's my guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's my early guy. I'm sticking with him.
Okay.
Anyways, that's an episode. Like and subscribe. Tell us what you loved. Tell us what you hated. Give us your takes on the Eagles-49ers game. Who do you think is going to win that? Tell us who you want the Giants to hire as the head coach next season. And tell us who you want the Commanders and Cowboys to hire as their defensive coordinators. We'll see. And we'll cover it in the weeks to follow. And hopefully we'll be covering a nice Eagles loss next week. But we'll see.
Go Eagles. Go Birds.
All right. That's the Beast of the NFC East.